Poverty is not just the absence of money. It is the presence of mental patterns that keep you from creating it, keeping it, or growing it. It doesn't begin in the wallet. It begins in the mind. It is not rooted in income. It is rooted in belief. The first battlefield is not your job, your paycheck, or your environment. It is your internal narrative. If your mind has been conditioned to expect lack, normalize struggle, and resist prosperity, then even in the presence of opportunity, you will sabotage yourself back into lack. Poverty thrives where there is a belief that you are supposed to suffer, that wealth is for others, that you must wait for permission to prosper. These beliefs may sound subtle, but they are chains, and they often come wrapped in culture tradition and false humility. The way you think determines the way you behave. The way you behave determines the way you earn. And the way you earn determines the way you live. It all starts upstream in thought. You cannot out-earn a poor mindset. If your thoughts are rooted in limitation, then your life will always produce it. Some were raised in environments where poverty was normalized. You heard the language of struggle. You witnessed financial chaos. You absorbed fear around money. So now, even with opportunity in hand, you feel guilt for wanting more, shame for having it. That's how the curse continues. Not through systems, through silence. But every mental program can be rewritten. The belief that you are meant to just survive must be confronted. The assumption that being broke makes you morally superior must be rejected. Poverty is not a badge of honor. It is a signal that something in the foundation must shift. Scarcity teaches that there's never enough. It says, if I win, you lose. It breeds comparison, jealousy, and self-sabotage. Abundance, on the other hand, teaches that wealth is created, not taken. It says, if I win, you can too. It multiplies, includes, and inspires. The choice between these two is a choice between cycles. A poverty mindset teaches short-term think and spend fast, enjoy now, fix later. It builds no cushion, creates no legacy, and lives for the next hit of comfort. This thinking is what keeps people trapped, regardless of how much money comes their way. Because without vision, money leaks. Real freedom begins the moment you stop tolerating mental slavery. It begins the moment you ask deeper questions. What do I really believe about money? Where did those beliefs come from? Are they helping me build, or are they keeping me bound? If you believe money is evil, you will unconsciously repel it. If you believe success makes you a target, you will stay small. If you believe wealth corrupts, you will never become a good steward. The beliefs you bury are the limits you live under. Transformation begins when you break agreement with those lies. When you stop repeating them, even as jokes. When you stop using them to justify stagnation. When you stop saying things like, I'm not good with money. I could never afford that. Or that's not for people like me. Every word you speak reinforces what you believe. And your beliefs shape your financial reality. The truth is, wealth starts as a mindset long before it becomes a number. It's not about luxury or indulgence. It's about options. It's about impact. It's about responsibility. And it's about ending a cycle that should have never started. A wealth mindset thinks differently. It sees money as a tool, not a master. It values long-term gain over short-term pleasure. It knows how to delay, how to invest, and how to plant where future harvests can grow. It asks, how can I solve a problem? Not, how can I get by? It focuses on service, scale, and sustainability. Those who break the curse of poverty don't wait for someone to hand them wealth. They change their internal posture. They begin to expect it, to prepare for it, to handle it. They understand that no matter where they come from, they are not bound by it. What's been passed down doesn't have to be passed on. Mental liberation is the first form of wealth. It means no longer accepting financial chaos as your destiny. It means setting a new standard for what's normal in your life and refusing to live beneath that standard. It means defining abundance for yourself with clarity and conviction. You don't need a perfect upbringing to prosper, but you don't need flawless circumstances to rise. What you need is a mind trained for truth, one that refuses to inherit dysfunction simply because it's familiar. one that sees money not as a scarce resource, but as a reflection of stewardship, creativity, and impact. Once your mind is free, your actions change. You stop wasting time. You stop spending without purpose. You stop tolerating mediocrity. You begin to see opportunity where others see obstacles. You begin to value progress over popularity. And you build not for applause, but for legacy. The greatest wealth transfer begins in thought. When a person decides they are done repeating patterns, when they stop excusing financial dysfunction, when they look at every generational curse in the face and say, it ends with me, not by wishing, but by working from the inside out. Desire is not enough. It might stir emotion, spark ambition, and ignite energy. But desire without discipline is a fantasy. You cannot build a future on feelings. You build it on structure. The dream to be financially free is common. Millions desire wealth, success, and security, but very few are willing to live the kind of disciplined life that produces it. Because discipline demands sacrifice, consistency, and self-control. And these are things many refuse to confront. Desire speaks loudly, but discipline speaks consistently. Desire says start. Discipline says finish. Desire wants comfort. Discipline chooses commitment. Wealth does not respond to hope. It responds to order. It requires that you take control of your habits, your time, and your money long before you see the fruit of your labor. It's not about working harder. It's about working wiser and staying focused. The lack of money is not always the issue. The issue is often a lack of system, a lack of priorities, a lack of personal order. People who earn well can still be broke because they live without discipline. They spend before they save. They consume before they invest. They upgrade their lifestyle before they've even stabilized their finances. Without discipline, more money simply amplifies chaos. Discipline means tracking every dollar. It means knowing where your money is going and why. It means assigning every dollar a mission, not just reacting to every desire. When money has no assignment, it becomes a problem. When it has a clear purpose, it becomes a tool. This doesn't mean living miserably or denying yourself joy. It means being strategic. It means understanding that not every good thing is a right now thing. That financial peace often begins with temporary sacrifice. And that's small, consistent decisions, repeated over time, build the life others only wish for. Financially disciplined people don't just budget. They build margins. They create buffers between them and financial pressure. They don't just work for income. They build structure for income to grow and multiply. They understand that money without order is unstable, and anything unstable eventually falls. Impulse is expensive. Emotional spending is silent sabotage. If you cannot say no to your wants, you will never have enough to fund your future. Discipline is what separates builders from consumers. This is especially true when managing money. Budgeting is not about restriction. It is about alignment. It is a tool to ensure your actions match your intentions. Without a budget, your money will follow your feelings. With a budget, your money follows your purpose. The same applies to time. How you manage your time is how you manage your wealth. Wasted hours are invisible expenses. Idle time becomes a luxury you can't afford. You don't have to be busy all day, but you must be intentional every day. Because every minute spent without direction is a minute that could have moved you closer to your goals. Discipline demands structure. And structure is not punishment. It is protection. Protect your income with boundaries. Protect your future with planning. Protect your legacy with systems. This includes saying no when others expect you to say yes. Discipline will offend people who live undisciplined lives. You must be willing to disappoint short-term expectations to secure long-term freedom. That means not spending to impress, not giving into pressure, and not confusing generosity with irresponsibility. You cannot build financial strength if you keep caving to emotional weakness. Master your impulses. Train your decisions. Delay gratification. Delaying gratification is not denial. It's strategy. It's choosing to wait now so you can live free later. Most wealth is not the result of one big event. It's the compound return of many small, wise choices made over time. You must also protect yourself from distractions. Not every opportunity is for you. Not every trend is worth chasing. Stay rooted in your vision. Stay focused on your lane. And remember, The cost of distraction is progress. When you have discipline, you don't waste energy on comparison. You don't look left or right. You build brick by brick. You stay patient because you know that slow success is stronger than rush failure. The world celebrates speed, but wealth rewards consistency. Discipline teaches you to live beneath your means, not beyond your reality. It gives you the power to walk past temptation, knowing something better is being built. You become a different person, not just someone who has more, but someone who is becoming more. This transformation is critical because you don't rise to the level of your desire. You fall to the level of your systems. If your life lacks structure, your finances will too. And no dream can survive in disorder. So put systems in place, track your spending, set clear boundaries, give every dollar direction, build automation, schedule your goals, guard your time like it's money, because it is. And when discipline becomes your default, wealth becomes your outcome. Not because you got lucky, not because you stumbled upon opportunity, but because you made a decision to live differently, to stop following the crowd, to stop chasing comfort, to stop spending to impress, and to start living on purpose, with order, with clarity. The people who build wealth are not the ones with the loudest ambition. They're the ones with the quietest discipline. They rise early. They plan ahead. They execute daily. And they stay committed when it's no longer convenient. This is the unseen work that breaks the back of poverty. It's not glamorous. It's not always fun. But it is always effective. Discipline is not easy, but neither is regret. Choose the hard that builds, not the hard that breaks. The curse is broken by consistent action, not emotional outbursts. Structure is how you secure your peace. Order is how you protect your increase. And discipline is how you ensure that what you earn doesn't vanish. Build the life you want, one wise choice at a time. Because desire may open the door, but only discipline will keep it open. Money does not chase people. It chases value. It moves in the direction of usefulness, excellence, and problem solving. It is not loyal to effort alone. It is loyal to results. In a world full of noise, the one who solves problems gets paid. The one who multiplies solutions multiplies income. Money is not attracted to needs. It is attracted to contribution. If you want more, become more valuable. Value is the foundation of wealth, not talent, not connections, not luck. You get paid in proportion to the quality and quantity of problems you can solve. If the problems you solve are small, the pay will be small. If the problems you solve are rare, complex, or vital, the compensation rises accordingly. You must stop asking, how can I make more money? And start asking, how can I become more valuable to more people in less time? That question shifts everything. It forces you to grow. It demands you upgrade your thinking, your skills, and your capacity. Developing value starts with your mindset. You must see yourself as a producer, not just a participant. As a creator, not just a consumer. When you enter a room, ask yourself, what can I bring here that improves this space, these people, or this process? That's value. Study industries. Observe patterns. Learn what people need. Then offer it at a higher level than they expect. Excellence is a magnet. It separates you from the crowd. When you show up with skill, consistency, and results, people will find you. But value doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing the right things with more mastery. Focus is essential. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Identify where your strengths meet the market's need. Find the intersection between what you're great at and what people will pay for. Then develop it, sharpen it, refine it. Become so good at solving that one thing that people can't ignore you. This is how income becomes predictable, not through hustle, but through specialization. The marketplace pays for solutions, not struggle. It pays for clarity, not confusion. If your skill is undefined, your income will be unstable. But when your skill is sharpened and in demand, money flows towards you. Leverage is the next level of value. Once you've built skill, learn to scale it. Use technology. Create systems. Build processes. Multiply your output without multiplying your effort. Work that is tied only to your time has limits. Work that is tied to systems can grow without you being present every second. Build digital products. Offer scalable services. Create licensing. Write, teach, automate anything that allows your value to live beyond your physical presence. And remember, value is not only in what you do, it's in how you do it. Your attitude, your energy, your reliability, these are all part of your value. People don't pay just for the result. They pay for the experience. A pleasant experience adds value. A reliable delivery adds value. A proactive approach adds value. When you become a person of excellence and execution, doors open, not because of favoritism, but because value makes you visible. You must also protect your value by saying no to what depletes it. Every distraction is a tax on your potential. Every wasted hour is a missed opportunity to grow. Guard your attention, focus your development, build mastery, because average is overcrowded. But excellence is rare, and rare is valuable. As you grow in value, don't just work on your life, work on your life. Learn how to structure income, how to price your services, how to package your expertise. Money doesn't just come from skill. It comes from the ability to communicate that skill in a way the market understands and desires. You can have the greatest talent in the world, but if no one knows, it won't pay. Visibility matters. Positioning matters. Presentation matters. That's not vanity. That's stewardship. If your value solves problems, then you have a responsibility to make it known and make it available. Start waiting to be discovered. Start creating solutions. Start offering results. And when you do, don't undercharge. Don't devalue your time, your energy, or your gifts, because underpricing yourself is not humility. It's self-sabotage. When you offer high value, it's right to expect high return. Now, as value grows and income increases, reinvest it. Don't just consume, build. Turn earned income into ownership. Turn one stream into multiple. Create products, not just paychecks. Buy assets, not liabilities. Build something that pays you whether you work or not. That is how money begins to multiply. Multiplication begins where structure meets value. It's not luck. It's intentionality. It's clarity. It's systems. And this is not about greed. It's about stewardship. Because when you increase your value, you increase your ability to impact others. You increase your influence. You increase your options. You increase what you can give, build, and leave behind. There's no honor in staying small. There's no virtue in hiding what you carry. The curse of poverty is broken when value becomes your focus. Not vanity, not envy, not survival, but value. So ask yourself every day, what am I doing to increase my skill? What problem am I solving better than anyone around me? How can I serve at a higher level? How can I multiply this effort into something scalable? Because money follows solutions. It flows toward vision. It sticks to structure. And it rewards those who commit to growth. You don't need a new miracle. You need a new level of value. And when that becomes your focus, wealth will not be something you chase. It will be something you attract. Every curse continues until someone takes responsibility. Not with blame, not with bitterness, but with bold, quiet ownership of the future. Generational poverty is not just a financial issue. It is a pattern of accepted dysfunction. It is the repetition of habits, thoughts, and beliefs that weaken each generation a little more. Not because people are evil, but because no one stops long enough to question the cycle. The curse is not broken by emotion. It's broken by action, not by shouting for change, but by becoming the change, not by pointing to the past, but by building the future with full clarity and no excuses. There comes a moment where the conversation must shift, where the narrative must change, where you must say with clarity, it ends with me. No more normalizing chaos. No more glorifying struggle. No more passing down survival instead of strategy. Someone must become the line in the sand, the one who stands in the middle of what was and what must now be, not to be praised, not to be worshiped, but because the legacy of your name is worth protecting, and because your children's future should not be imprisoned by your silence. Responsibility is not blame. It is authority. It is the decision to take control, even if it's not your fault, because freedom matters more than fairness. The moment you take full responsibility for your life, you unlock power. Because if someone else is to blame, then they are in control. But if it's yours to fix, then it's yours to change. You cannot break a curse you keep defending. You cannot shift a cycle you keep excusing. You cannot rise into legacy while still nursing wounds from history. There is a difference between learning from the past and living in it. Those who build legacy use pain as fuel, not as identity. They honor the struggle without marrying it. They acknowledge what was broken, but they don't wear it as a badge. Responsibility means looking at every decision and asking, is this building my future or repeating my past? It means choosing strategy over emotion, order over impulse, purpose over comfort. And it means taking command of the culture in your home, because generational curses don't just live in income. They live in language. They live in what's tolerated, what's normalized, what's repeated unconsciously. The way you talk about money in front of your children matters. The way you handle stress matters. The way you treat opportunity matters. They're watching, listening, learning. You are not just managing your own life. You are modeling a standard. You are shaping an inheritance, for better or worse. Every late bill, every broken promise, every emotional outburst around finances, it becomes part of the environment that teaches the next generation how to view money, wealth, responsibility, and even themselves. But here's the truth. Legacy is not what you leave after you die. Legacy is what you live while you're still breathing. It is built daily in your decisions, your discipline, and your direction. Breaking the curse doesn't require perfection. It requires alignment. Alignment with truth. Alignment with wisdom. Alignment with structure, stewardship, and strategy. It begins with small choices made consistently. Not spending what you don't have. Not seeking validation through possessions. Not using money to escape pain. Not using poverty as an excuse to stay passive. And most of all, not tolerating patterns that destroy peace. You are not helpless. You are not stuck. You are not defined by who raised you, what they lacked, or how they failed. You have the power to change the story, not by running from it, but by rising above it. Take ownership of your skills. Take ownership of your time. Take ownership of your habits. Take ownership of your outcomes. Because what you don't own will own you. No more pointing fingers. No more waiting for someone to rescue what you have the power to rebuild. No more saying, they didn't teach me. Learn now. Grow now. Change now. Responsibility is not a burden, it's a doorway. Once you step through it, the curse loses its grip. Because you begin to act not from history, but from vision. And vision is what turns families around. Vision is what creates structure. Vision is what teaches discipline. Vision is what builds wealth. Vision is what heals broken mindsets and says, we will not live like this anymore. This is not just about having money. This is about leaving legacy. It's about being the reason your family never goes back to struggle. The reason your children expect structure, order, and peace, not chaos. The reason your last name becomes a foundation, not a warning sign. The curse ends when the excuses stop, when entitlement ends, when emotional spending ends, when silence about money ends. The curse ends when purpose begins, when order is enforced, when truth is taught, when wealth is seen as a tool, not an idol, not a shame, not a fantasy, but a responsibility. You may not have inherited wealth, but you can build it. You may not have been taught these principles, but you can learn them. You may not have had a perfect start, but you can create a powerful finish, no matter how deep the pattern, no matter how far back the dysfunction goes. It only takes one generation to change the future. And that generation can start with you. Now is the time to take full command, to stop repeating patterns, to stop asking for permission to rise, to take everything you've lived through and use it as evidence that you will not live like that again. Because the curse isn't permanent, but it is persistent until someone breaks it. And if you're still breathing, that someone can be you.